I won't go back to this though.
This is a
Stop,
test.
stop yelling at me.
I'm not yelling at you, Pat. Well, now I am.
All right. Talking to yo mic.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Oh yeah, this is right about here. Perfect. Good.
Welcome to the Bunk Room Chats podcast. I'm Elaina, also known as Betty,
I'm Tim still.
and this is our special guest for the week.
Vince Powers.
This week we're going to talk about divorce.
Divorce. Something that we're all
All three of us
Yes.
are, we're pros.
know
at it.
all too well.
and you wanted to talk about this in particular.
Yeah.
First, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and then, what brought you to us? And
Yeah.
wanted to speak?
So I brought this topic up to Betty. Actually, she was one of the people that I met when I was detailed to Station 3. So I'm a firefighter, also in Frederick. Been one for almost 7 years, and I went through divorce about 3 years ago. So I think this is one of those unspoken topics that is not covered enough. So I thought it was very important to bring to light today.
And actually, when we were prepping for this episode, I kind of looked up some statistics that surprised me a little bit. Some say that up to 75% of first marriages for first responders end in divorce, which is very, very, very high. Another really interesting fact is that female firefighters are 3 times more likely to get a divorce than the national average.
That's
which
crazy.
is very...
And why do you suppose that is?
I mean, I have my theories of it. I think that being around, for a woman to have a male spouse, especially at home, I should say for a heterosexual woman who has a male spouse at home to be around men,
Mm-hmm. Heterosexual men.
heterosexual men, constantly for 24 to 48 hours at a time, to sleep in the same, living space with them, to form these bonds with them, and then come home.
Old hubby might get a little
Yeah,
suspicious
yeah, that
Jealous.
might
of
create
all the
some
hot
issues.
firemen in the calendar.
Well, I don't know about that, but
She's out. She gone.
I think that's a bit extreme. But no, I think it can create some jealousy and some issues for sure. And forming those bonds with people. It's not like a 9 to 5. It's not like you go to work and you have friends at work and then you come home. Even that can cause jealousy.
Mhm.
Even just a regular 9 to 5 job can cause jealousy. But then you throw in, you spend days with these people. You sleep in the same space.
Right.
You
That trauma
see-
bonding.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You see some serious shit with these people and talk about it and discuss it and
Mhm.
go through it. And then you come home to a spouse who doesn't necessarily understand it, who, if they are not also in, the fire service or law enforcement or whatever it is, they might not have that understanding.
Mhm.
And this is like a very unique aspect of this job, being that you have a second family.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It is an entirely normal thing if you were to be on a shift of a group of guys and gals for 3-4 years and then all of a sudden get transferred. It's 100% normal to go through a grieving process
Yeah.
as if somebody had just passed away. Like,
Yeah.
it's a significant loss.
Yeah.
And this is your family and stuff. And sometimes I don't think the higher ups fully take that in. I know we got to make moves for the good of the division and what all the good stuff they
Yeah.
tell you, but not to stray off too much, but just to point out the importance of this being a second family.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those relationships.
To your point.
Yeah, those relationships really do stick around. Like, I was just thinking about it the other day. There are people who I met when I first started volunteering in Frederick. I mean, now I'm a career in Carroll, but there are people who, I mean, obviously you guys I know from Frederick. But
Mhm.
there's people who I met years ago who maybe I don't talk to them as much, but if I know that if I text them and say, hey,
Oh,
I
yeah.
need something, can you
They'll
help
reach
me?
out right
Yeah,
away.
they'll be there. So
Well, that's kind of how you and I began our relationship. I was going through divorce,
Mhm.
and you reached out to me, because I was detailed in a lot to Station 3, and you were like, hey, if you ever need anything, and it was just that small little like, hey, I'm here to listen, whatever you need, like, and that kind of helped us grow as like friends, and really kind of got me through the second half of what I was going through that
Yeah.
year. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. But no, like that's something that I think the fire service in a lot of ways is really good. You know, we have a lot of shared experiences, and those aren't necessarily good experiences, but
Or statistics.
yeah, but we we do have those shared experiences. So
Right.
like all three of us have been through divorce and not.
Yeah,
the
there's
same
your statistics
situation.
right there. The three of us at the table right now, and all
Yeah.
three.
I remember sitting at a table on overtime, and it was the rookie who was engaged, and it was 4 other firefighters, and the officer was going through his second divorce, and I was going through divorce. And how do you tell somebody,
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
okay, buddy?
Yeah,
I always
statistically, this is
go
your
to the
first
light.
one. Yeah.
I always made a joke of it, and with the when I had rookies or something at the table, they were just getting engaged. It's like, yeah, it's good you get that first one out of the way nice and early.
But that's something I've noticed is that there's a lot of rookies who come in engaged. Like they come in to the
Well, it's
fire
that time of the
service.
life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You come into the
yeah.
fire service young and engaged,
Mhm.
and then give it 3-4 years, and
Yeah.
you're a weathered,
Seasoned.
and divorced.
How do you combat that? Because it's like anything. You tell a rookie, hey, don't buy that big truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a new paycheck now. It's time.
I mean, I would
Yeah.
if I were to give advice, I would say just wait. Just wait a little bit.
Just
Wait and see.
Yeah.
But
Wait and see how they handle your job, how you handle your job.
endure the stress.
Yeah.
and if only it was as simple as listening to our elders,
Well,
people
yeah.
that have
I
lived
know.
it.
In one ear, not the other.
Because that's the first thing anybody wants to do. When I got hired when I was 20 years old, fresh out of high school. Didn't really have. I had jobs before, but I didn't make that kind of money as a 20-year-old.
Mhm.
So of course, the first thing I bought was a new truck.
Yeah.
Had to.
Of course.
I mean, just trying to get my life underway.
Mhm.
That's a good way to start with building credit for yourself to get a house and what have you. But that's just me justifying it now.
Yeah.
No, and it makes sense. And those I don't want to call them mistakes necessarily, but they're also
Life
character
lessons.
builders. Yes, they're
Yeah.
character builders.
Yeah.
Hindsight is 20/20.
But I think that it is difficult to see people coming in making those same mistakes that you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because you can't tell them don't do that.
Right, because
they're
then
gonna do
you
it anyway,
you did it and you learned the hard way.
Exactly. Exactly. But I think that's why so many people I know in the fire service, the second relationships, so many of them are with fellow first responders.
Mhm.
Because it's kind of like you learn the first time around, like, okay, these are my people. These are the ones who really understand.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of, I mean, we can say it on here, but we're kind of
You feel like you wanted to get in, like you want to, after the first one, you know that you're not going to get anything out of this person if they don't work in the
Yes.
field, like as far as needing to unload and
Yeah.
needing to connect.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, if you don't share that, or someone
But
who at the
sometimes
very
you
least-
do, and it still doesn't work out.
Well, I mean, that's
So,
true. That is true.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can. Yeah, that's also happened, and that, like, we were talking about before. That's also can be the case of maybe they know too much. Maybe there's,
Yeah.
maybe you understand each other too much. Maybe it goes too far the other way.
Right.
Where you really know what that bond is like with other people, and you really know what that stress does, and so it's funny because I know a lot of couples who, one person, a lot of times if the spouse is not in the fire department, the one who is can say, oh, I was up all night running calls, and they're like, oh no, that's terrible.
Mhm.
But if you are also in the fire department and you know for a fact that they were not actually up all night running
Mhm.
calls, you
Mhm.
can call them out on that.
Busted.
Yeah, so it can go both ways.
But like we were talking about before we started recording it, like it's not just one thing. Everything there's different, reasons or, stresses, whatever. And like what I was going through with I started day work when I went through divorce, and that really put like a stress because, constantly being, at work every like 4 days out of the 5 during the week. And weekends off, but that wasn't enough time to, really spend time together, quality time. And I just think it's one of those things. There's different, like we were talking about too, fight or flight,
Mhm.
right? you're always just up here, and when you try to come back down, you're trying to decompress, and I think that's really important.
It's definitely one of the things that we've touched on and will touch on several times as this show continues, is that trying to go from one place to the next, from work to home, is a pretty significant transition.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a battle.
And when you have to do that from a day work stance, as I'll reiterate this because it was kind of important. Day work it's funny that you had mentioned that was a part of it, or it just so happened to be at that time when you were put on day work, because it was the same with me when I was going through all of my shit, and I got put back onto a day work assignment right when you just can't do it. That's when you get nailed with it.
It's a
And
catalyst.
it you never really understand how much you're away from home unless you're on day work. Like the 24-hour, 48 off schedule that we normally do, you have a good bit of time here at home if you don't work overtime and stuff like that. But work the same amount of hours just in a day work fashion, you're never here. And then when you are here, if you get to come home on time because you didn't get a late call, you have to switch every night back into that home mode or dad mode or husband mode, wife mode, whatever. And it definitely strains things. But it was just interesting that day work was a part of your mess as well. Because
I feel like it's a catalyst almost. Yeah, you're physically there, but you're not mentally.
Yeah. I don't know that there's anything that can be done about that. You got to day work is a thing. It's part of the job that we sign up for. We could kind of get rid of it, or we could just keep adding day work spots. That's cool too. A couple steps forward, couple back. But
so how do you, to kind of like segue a little bit, how do you, since all of us have been divorced, how did you guys deal with that? How did you deal with getting divorced? How did you view it? I know a lot of people view it as a failure, as, how did you look at it, and how did you get to the other side?
You want to touch on that first, since you were the first?
Sure. I was an absolute fucking mess. This was a complete and utter failure to me. I thought I basically shouldered 100% of it on myself, whether it was true or not. I know I contributed a lot to it, being having an alcohol problem that I wasn't ready to admit yet. So not fully thinking I had one, but that did play a factor into it. And of course, the schedule, the job. You come home tired. I've been in the city for more than half my career. 18 years on the job, and probably 10 of that has been in the city. Maybe a little bit more. But I'm always tired. And I guess I'm a glutton for punishment because I don't really want to leave either. I'm not going to put paperwork in to leave. But anyway, it does, like they were talking about, it just adds up. That sleep debt continues to grow. And you just, if you don't get enough proper sleep, you're going to start becoming a bit verbally abusive, or just annoyed, which turns into those things. I didn't handle things well all the time. Never once would I put a hand on anybody, but verbal, that was a not so good thing I used to do. And then the drinking would accentuate that. So anyway, for whatever the case, I shouldered 100% of that blame for that going downhill. And it wasn't until I hit rehab that I kind of processed it finally. It was, as we talked about, like a significant loss, and I didn't process it. It was just constantly there, one of those PTSD things, if you will. And it's 100% a true thing. And it was just spiraling me out of control until I could get to a point where I could understand it, process it, and move forward, and know that I was only responsible for 50% of that 100%. So I mean, that's briefly. I wasn't very good, but how'd you handle things? Hopefully a bit better.
A lot, yeah. I'm a glasses half full guy. So I tried to learn from my elders, and not go down that path. So I don't know if anyone's heard of 75 Hard.
Yeah.
A lot of people in our department were doing it for weight loss,
Mhm.
and I didn't really ever have that issue. But I'm like, you know what? Let me do something different for a mental aspect, like mental challenge, that aspect of it. So that was kind of the turning point for me. Like it was a month after I got separated, and I wanted a healthy avenue to channel everything that was you process everything that was happening. So I started 75 Hard, and part of that is no drinking for 75 days. So I'm like, oh, perfect. This is a
Nice.
good avenue. So another aspect of that is reading. So I started doing all these things that I hadn't done in years that I was
Mhm.
kind of lost myself, right? Like, so I'm like, you know what? I need to be better, not only for me, but for my daughter. So I started reading more. I was leaving this marriage in a mound of debt, credit card debt.
Mm.
So one of the books I read talked about finances. So it was kind of like the perfect storm of like this just channeled everything for me to just be better in general. So not only health, fitness, but also mentally. Like I felt like I've never felt locked in like
You
that.
really did take this in
I-
as a glass half
You
full.
know, I
So,
was
like,
just about to say,
So-
all three of us, because
we talked about it. You're like, oh, we all probably handled it
no, I handled
bad.
it terribly.
terribly.
Yeah.
But
I
I'm
mean,
like,
you could write a
I-
book on this, though. Like,
Like,
It,
you
it really changed me for the better, I think.
yeah.
So,
I
Which
mean,
is
that's
definitely
life,
so.
though.
admirable. It's admirable because I know many people, including myself, including Conrad. Like for me, my divorce, I didn't know how to handle it. I mean, I
Mhm.
was young. I was, I think, 20. Well, I was 24 when I got married.
Mhm.
And I got married for what?
No, I was just thinking, like, what you were saying. You didn't know how to handle it. I didn't want to handle it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's just funny how completely 180 your,
Yeah.
your story is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it is because like I did not know what to do. I felt very lost. I felt like, okay,
Mhm.
where is my life going? This is not what I saw for myself.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is,
yeah.
there was a lot of like a loss of identity, like
Yeah,
an identity
absolutely.
crisis of like, okay,
Absolutely.
I thought that I was
That
going
purpose.
to be, I thought I was going to be, because I very much wanted to get married, but for the wrong reasons. I
Yeah.
thought that's what you were supposed to do. Like, you're with
Society's
this person,
expectations
exactly.
and the norms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're with this person, you're supposed to get married and,
Mhm.
move from there. And so when that didn't work out, it was like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do now?
Right.
Like, I don't know. Society doesn't tell me what to do after this.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like,
And it's not
I
talked
don't,
about.
yeah, like, I don't know what
Yeah.
to do. So I was very, very much, I was in a terrible, you were there.
Yeah.
I was in an awful place. I did not handle it well. Of all the things that have gone wrong in my life, I did probably handled the worst.
But that
I would
happens.
say.
But you got to pick yourself back up. And
Yeah, and
you-
I think eventually,
you got there.
Eventually, I did. But
Yeah.
I'm really impressed that you handled it as well as you did because
Do you think that some of that has, we discussed before the mics come on, just show of hands, who, what was it, the word again?
Oh,
God,
instigated.
instigate.
Yeah.
Well, no, initiated.
Initiated.
Who
okay.
initiated the divorce? And for me, it wasn't me.
Mhm.
see, mine was kind of 50-50. So it was kind of like
Yeah.
mutual.
I think it was more me.
You 100%
Mhm.
took the
So I think that
credit
does
for that.
make a difference. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
trying to find your own happiness.
Yeah.
it does kind of help if you are the one that's saying, all right, let's get this divorce. I'm not happy.
Yeah.
I got to make some changes.
Mhm.
And then, sure, you can launch into that.
Mhm.
I feel I wasn't blindsided by it, but I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't like on board with it at all. Like,
So I think in my case, thinking back to it, I instigated the separation. He instigated the divorce. So I
Okay.
said we should separate and think about things, and then
Mhm.
he was like, "All right, I'm done."
yeah, well,
So
I'm already done thinking. How about
yeah,
that?
so that was kind of a surprise for me. But yeah, I think that maybe that might play into how you.
Yeah,
handle
for
it.
sure, for sure. I think everybody has to have those avenues though, and they have to be healthy because everyone can cope in a negative way.
Oh yeah.
But it's trying to mitigate, like, all right, I'm going to do this for the better and not because luckily, this family, this brotherhood, I had somebody who, same academy, helped. He took me in, gave me cheap rent, whatever. So that was kind of another part of it where I was like, all right, well, I got to do something now and take advantage of the opportunities that
Yeah.
I've been given.
And I think that kind of what you're talking about doesn't just apply to picking yourself up after a divorce, but it's also like any major life event that's negative.
Yeah.
How do you handle in a mental health way? Like, how do you
For sure.
handle
Mhm.
these things in a positive way instead of in a self-destructive
Mhm.
sort
Yeah.
of way?
Yeah. It took me a good bit longer to once I was on board with it and I was figuring things out, I think I did do a pretty good job. I did start making some changes,
Absolutely.
and it just took the initial getting on board with the program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh, my ex-wife was, I guess, leaps and bounds ahead of me on where I should have been, probably, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. I mean, it all boils down also to some of my depression that I was diagnosed with, severe
Mhm.
depression and shit. And part of that is not fully wanting to do things. If you don't want to do it, like, it's not gonna. So, like, I don't really agree with this divorce, so I'm just not gonna have any fucking thing to do
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you want it, you do
Yeah.
everything,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
just show up with where I need to sign and where.
But that's
Mhm.
another thing. I think your underlying, I don't want to say issues, but your underlying issues play into how you handle things. And you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but do you have, or have you ever had depression, anxiety, anything like that?
Some bouts of anxiety. I wouldn't say anything like clinically diagnosed, but
So that probably also plays into it. So if you have a
Oh,
healthier,
100%.
yeah, because I've always had depression.
Mhm.
You have depression. So
I was
you're
shocked
starting at you're
at
starting
the
at this low
level
place. Yeah.
of
Yeah,
depression.
you're already dealing with like the worst stress of your life,
Yeah.
and now
Yeah.
You
you're
know.
wondering
Yeah.
how do I combat it? And
Yeah.
yeah, I totally
Absolutely.
understand that.
It's nuts. There's different tests you can take or surveys. If you answer honestly, uh, it gives you like a grade, and it shows you where you fall on this depression scale. And I was just blown away because you've known me for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not a sad guy. I'm usually trying to stay upbeat, keep
Mhm.
people happy,
There's always
make
those
people
people.
laugh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, even myself, I didn't feel depressed, but I can totally see it now in hindsight. I can see where the depression was and how I was treating it with alcohol and what have you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So while you took this fantastic approach, uh, it set me back years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think financially,
Mhm.
mentally, physically. I'm only now getting back into some kind of decent shape because I needed it for my own mental health.
Mhm. For sure.
I started not long ago not feeling so hot again, and like I was regressing back into some sort of depression.
Mhm.
But I wasn't paying much attention to myself, so it was one of the things that we were discussing on this podcast here. I started getting out there and doing an hour of cardio every day again, and it really
Yeah.
does
That makes a
jumpstart
huge
your
difference.
Movement is
day.
key. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I think I think a natural kind of segue from talking about this is how you handle taking stress from work and going home, and also taking stress from home and going to work. And I think
Mhm.
that also applies a lot with having kids, and you've got this stress of what happens when you're at home, but also you've got the stress of what happens when you're not at home
Mhm.
with the kids. Um, and then you go to work and you've got that all on your shoulders, and you're dealing with that, and then you got the stress of work, and then you come home, and
Yeah.
so it kind of it's a constant cycle. So how
Well,
do you guys?
let me ask this.
Yeah.
Uh, do either of you feel like at any point in time your relationship ending affected the way you performed at work?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say minimally, but
Minimal.
yes, it was in the back of
This
my.
is a poster child for
Well,
mental
no,
health.
I wouldn't say that at all.
I
But it
was.
was always in the back of my head.
The
Like,
reason
Yeah.
I asked was because I don't think it affected my job as much as it affected my whole other 98% of my life.
Yeah.
mhm.
Like, I still came into work. Now I was going through a civil war inside of myself,
Yeah.
For sure. That's a
but
good
I still feel like I was there on every call. I don't think I was stumbling, falling down, doing anything wrong.
one.
I think because you know how if somebody like gets sick or dies, you just want to be at work, like, or you want to be away.
Yeah.
Mhm.
you want to keep busy,
Yeah.
I guess is the more
Yeah.
appropriate way to say
Yeah.
things. It's kind of where I was with that as well. I just have to be at work.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be at home because this is where everything feels awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to be, in work.
And I think we kind of have to be able to turn it on when we go to work because, I mean, we deal with very serious situations. So you kind of have to be able to shut that
Yeah.
off and, turn on the
Try not
proper,
to have
yeah.
such an off day when
Yeah.
when my
When
my grandmother's
Gam
dying.
fell down the stairs, and yeah.
Gam.
Who's this clown you guys brought over here?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you have to bring your A game, for lack of a better phrase, every single time.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm along the lines of with what Tim went through. Like, I wanted to be at work. I worked a lot of overtime, just because my daughter was young, and I'm like, all right, let me get out of this financial hole I was
Mhm.
in, and I enjoyed it. I love work. Like, that's a huge part of like who I am now. Like, I love being a firefighter. So the more I was there, the more it kind of like distracted me.
Mhm.
A healthy distraction, like, because obviously I had to deal with my own thing at home,
Mhm.
but while I was there, I was happy. I was, feeling like I could make a difference.
Yeah.
So
You felt like yourself.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's interesting because when you don't feel like you at
Mhm.
home, that's a big thing. That's a big,
Yeah.
Well, and you can come back here now, even though I didn't want to be back here. When I did come back, you can turn that off and
Mhm.
kind of be free of the well, you're not really putting on a front
Mhm.
because I mean, when I was at work, I was enjoying myself. I was away from all the distraction over here and where I wanted to be. So I really wasn't putting on a front or anything. It was just an
Well, did
actual.
your
I found myself in happiness
how
again.
how soon did your shift know? Like, how quickly did you come out and say, "Hey, this is what's going on in my personal life"?
It was pretty quick. Like they could tell that I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
happy. And I was pretty close with my shift at 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm close with my shift now, but I spent 8 or 9 years with those guys,
Nice.
so that was a family.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew my ex-wife. They knew everything that was going on. We all knew what was going on in each other's lives, and
Mm-hmm.
as long as everybody was open and upfront and honest, our
Yeah.
shift ran smoothly, and that was
Mhm.
one of the things that the boss wanted, and
Cool.
it was easy enough to do, especially once you build that family connection.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was pretty quick when once I realized it was 100% happening and there was no saving. I was just like, yeah, it's over, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I feel like that was one of the things I struggled with initially, was opening up to, just because I didn't want anybody judging me, or
Yeah.
yeah.
or rumor mill to take effect, But then that's one of those things you do tell somebody, tell a friend, tell a firefighter.
Yeah.
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 We touched on this on a previous episode as
Mhm.
well, where I came home from rehab saying I ain't fucking scared of this shit no more.
Mm-hmm.
People are gonna say what they're gonna say. I
Mhm.
just put out an entire email blast to the entire division saying where I was, what I did. I'm an alcoholic. You got any questions? Come ask me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to help.
Yeah.
Hence
Which-
why we do this podcast now.
Yeah.
I'm still doing this 5 years on.
Yeah.
So
But why do you think, kind of going back to the very, very beginning of this podcast, why do you think so many first responders end up getting that?
why do I think, or why do they?
Well, you can't possibly know.
Well,
Why do
I
you
mean, I think there's a certain logic to it. We've discussed, like what you talked about with the females. That
Yeah.
makes complete sense. That the husband wouldn't be so comfortable with his wife going to hang out with 8 guys all day, a third of their lives.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the same breath, for me, like I wasn't coming home being very present. Uh, a lot of people don't like the schedule. They don't realize, I guess dating is a completely different thing than when you get married. Now the schedule sucks. Like, because I mean, most of the time it's not so uncommon that folks live together before they get
Yeah.
married.
Mhm.
Now it's not as taboo as it used to be. you know what the schedule is, but that does get thrown in there. And of course, just if you don't know how to appropriately take out your frustrations,
Mhm.
angers, um, anything that you brought home from work, maybe you ran a bad call, it's kind of messing with you a little bit. It doesn't always have to put you on the ground, but you can, if you don't process it correctly, it will manifest as anger,
Yeah.
uh, or sadness.
Coping and dealing with the underlying stress
Right.
Yeah.
is
Uh,
huge.
so I mean, there's a number of things that
Hmm.
could lead to this. Why
You can't
firefighters
pinpoint one.
in general, it's hard to say.
Mhm.
So you mentioned dating. How
I
did
did.
you? Yeah, you mentioned it's different with
I'm not
dating
dating.
than.
I'm married again.
So how did you find going into dating after your
I didn't know what the fuck to do. Honest to God, I was. It had been a while. Now I was only married for 2.5 years, so really wasn't a long time that I was out of the game. But it was long enough where I was like, just going to the bar and see what's there.
What about you?
I'm still trying to figure out how to deal with it. I don't know. I've dipped my toe in the water, dating apps and everything, but
Are they as
they're bad. Yeah.
I mean, we can spin this for the mental health aspect. Are they? Because sex does actually come into play a lot when folks are having a bad go at it. They'll use sex as a weapon. They'll just use it as a way to make themselves feel better. You know,
Hmm.
are you finding any of that creeping in?
Yeah, the dating apps. It's just a different ball game now than what it used to be. Like intentions, you don't know who wants what, and like
Yeah, I don't
you
think
try
I
to be
do.
open and like, hey, but everybody wants to play a game. I feel like it's like, hey, are you want to be serious? Do you just want to have
Instead of
fun?
just being like upfront about
Yeah,
intentions.
yeah. And then next thing you know, you're on a Facebook group. Are we dating the same guy?
Oh
And
my god.
Oh,
yeah,
did you
Yeah.
wind up on that? My
Yeah.
wife loves that.
I
Really?
I unfortunately have. Yeah.
Oh boy, wait till I tell her.
I know a few people who wound
Yeah.
up on that.
A lot
She
of a lot
she'll
of them in the same department.
Yep.
she'll do you know this guy? I'm
Yeah.
like, no, that's not even
Yeah.
close to our uniform. I mean, we do laundry here. Like, you should know what it looks like.
um, just from when I was dating after my divorce, the apps are not good. The
Yeah.
apps are just
They
awful.
they haven't gotten better. Yeah, so Tinder, Hinge, Bumble.
You
Yeah.
have all of
Grinder.
I'm not on there. But I
Is that not a good one?
report back. I was on Bumble the first time I got married.
Is
So
that
I'm
how
like,
you found your ex-wife?
yes. So I said, oh, let me try and get on there because
Why
to
would you
me,
try the same thing if it didn't work?
well,
If that's what you know. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
how did you
But
date
so
beforehand?
my mindset was, well, I don't really go out to the bar to pick somebody up. And where am I gonna meet someone with a small child? Right? Grocery store, maybe. Library. I don't know.
Just hang out at the
So
Safeway.
the time when I'm alone is either I'm at work. So I'm like, well, how can I don't know, benefit the most from this? So it's like, well, free time, I can swipe and do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole dating term,
Yeah.
you start talking to multiple women. I guess they don't like that. They put you as
On
a
a group.
poster child for the group.
Do people date now? That's an honest question because
That's my mindset.
I don't.
I'm an old school, like, hey, I'm gonna talk to multiple people to get to know them,
I
and
haven't
and
ever
then
really dated. You
Yeah.
know, like even with my ex-husband, we didn't date. I mean, I moved in with him.
So
you
I
just
went.
assume
Immediately.
I'm gonna pack a bag and never leave.
Basically.
I went on basically what I called a year of sexual liberation after my divorce, and just there was no real dating. There was just hookups.
Yeah.
But
That's just
I
healthy
call it
after a
healing.
divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
healthy.
but at the same time, it wasn't very healthy. I was pretty self-destructive what I was
Yeah.
doing, and it just added on to the depression.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, yeah.
All of the things that I would do to make myself feel better were just
Yeah.
band-aids,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's what I was kind of getting at earlier. But yeah, temporary solutions to long-term problems.
Yeah.
It's true.
Uh,
Coping,
alcohol
you have to.
is just that
Mhm.
was the one thing that, and I knew going into it that I potentially had a big issue because of my genetics, but it's not something that I wanted to deal with. Just much like the divorce, I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want it to be real, so I'm not going to deal with it.
Do you think, you kind of mentioned this, do you think that, I shouldn't say firemen, but first responders perhaps, do you think first responders use sex as a coping mechanism?
100%.
I think.
The stress of the job?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think
there's
that's fair
different
to say.
avenues. Yeah.
I don't think it has to be 100% down the
No,
road for
there's-
everybody, but I think
I think everybody's addicted to something, whether it be sex, drugs, alcohol. There's different ways.
and you don't really kick addiction either. You replace
With
addiction
something
Right.
else, yeah.
with something
And
healthy.
you hope it's a positive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Positive
You kind of like the 75 hard.
Mhm.
That's a good way to change habits. It's 75 days. So by the end of that, you are fully entrenched in a
Mhm.
habit of life.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you're wanting to kick, but
Right.
at the same time, you have readjusted and realigned yourself to be doing something every day that's more healthy for you.
Yeah.
And it, not that you want to throw addiction in there as a bad term in this sense, but
Mhm.
it is replacing an addiction with another addiction.
And that's kind of how I am with working out. I mean, people make fun of me because I need to work out every day. I need to do that
Or
every
you
day.
get irritable.
I'm
Yep.
cranky. I'm upset.
Dependent.
I am
Mhm.
dependent on it because it grounds me. Like
Mhm.
if I get my workout in the morning, which is why I like working out before shift, especially at a busy
Mhm.
station, because if I get interrupted
Yeah.
more than like 2 times for
Mhm.
calls, it's like the flow is gone.
Right.
You're
So
just
do
like
you work out? So you wake up extra early
extra
and work
early
out?
workout
Interesting.
Wow.
because
Yeah.
I need to do that. I need to
Okay.
get that workout in.
I'll stay at it all day long. If I'm on shift like tomorrow, I'm on the back ambulance at 1. So if I get there and I get a half hour and we get a call, I come back and I try again.
Mhm.
That just pisses me off. I have to have a flow to
But
it.
then you get to stay in PT clothes all day too, so it's fine.
Valid point.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. But no, it's like that same thing. I kind of replaced unhealthy with a healthier.
That's good.
You know.
Yeah.
But
And I won't try and do like the full hour. Like I did a half hour already. I'll
But you
take as
also
long as
have
it takes.
that discipline though, because you're waking up extra early. I'm thinking along the lines of, oh, I'm gonna get paid and
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there all day.
but the flow though, like I do
if
circuits. I
if
do,
the
like,
flow is
kettlebell circuits
interrupted,
and shit.
that's life. You gotta just deal with the,
Aunt Flo. What?
we lost her.
Completely different. Okay.
It's
What were we talking
very
about?
easy.
What were we talking
Interruptions
about?
and how to deal with.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I
starting
totally.
my workout because then like if
Oh,
I
you
start
mean it
getting-
has to be start to finish like an
I
hour?
like it to
You said
be.
it an
if
hour.
I get
Mhm.
interrupted for more than
Hmm.
a certain amount of time, I feel like I have to start over
I get
because
that.
I'm
I
like
get
this
that.
is I've lost it. Like I've
Yeah.
lost the motivation and the so I
Mhm.
got to start over again. But
Mhm.
yeah, if I don't get my workout in,
Yeah.
you don't want to be around me. I'm not in a good mood. I haven't.
Oh,
I've
boy.
missed one workout in the past maybe 9 months.
Mm.
I
That's
do
impressive.
not like missing it.
That's
But
impressive.
that's the thing is like finding something that's healthy
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
physically and mentally that kind of replaces those less
I
healthy.
I didn't want to work out at first, so like I was finding replacements with things like jigsaw puzzles, ice cream. These are
You and
I
your
was
ice
about to
cream
justify the
stand.
puzzles. I'm like, okay, mental workout,
Mental
and then you
workout,
said
yeah.
ice cream. I said, okay.
You lost it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't gonna lie.
Yeah, no.
But yeah,
Everybody has a cheat day.
I will say though, since I've started, and I've been exercising now for quite some time. It's been like almost 3 months. That I definitely don't want to stop. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
does.
You feel like you're in a better place mentally.
It does
you know?
100% give you a good,
Mhm.
a much better outlook on the day. Like
Mhm.
Yep.
the endorphins releasing is a real thing.
Mhm.
It's nice.
So you're a morning person, morning workout. Do you like working out in the morning? Start the day off
That's
that way?
my
Yeah.
preferred. Yeah, I like
Mhm.
to do it when I get up in the morning, so you have the rest of the day
Yep.
to
Yeah.
enjoy the accomplishment of
Yep.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And if if I have to do it later, I mean, that's
It's
not a
not the end
huge
of the
deal.
world.
Like today, I didn't get out there, but
Mhm.
we'll see what's up after the kids get home from school and everything. So
That's why I always encourage people. There's a lot of people who are worried about starting to work out because
Mhm.
whether I'm not in shape enough to work
Yeah.
out, or I don't know what to do. Just do something. Just move your body. Just start
Yeah.
doing something. 'Cause you
Crawl,
will feel
walk,
better.
run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you will feel better once you just start moving.
Yeah.
And I actually started doing taking a personal trainer course.
Awesome. Wow.
Because I want to be able to give people that, that because I see
That
a
shared
lot
feeling.
of because
Yeah.
I see a lot of people who don't know what to do to start working out.
Mhm.
They don't know. They want to
Right.
get in better shape, but there's also a lot of like gym intimidation.
Oh, for
like
sure. For sure.
You go to the gym and you feel like people are looking at you and watching you and judging you. Some people do. I mean, some
Yeah.
people will, but
Just let them.
yeah, just let them
Mhm.
do your thing and just move your
I just
body.
read that book.
I think a lot,
Let them theory.
I think a lot of people who like America is chronically depressed. There's
yeah,
we have a lot of people who have really bad mental health,
Mhm.
and we also have a lot of people who are very overweight and very out of
I think
shape.
it's hand in hand.
And I think it goes
Yeah.
hand in hand because
Absolutely.
I think if you move your body, if you get some sort of physical movement in,
Mhm.
you're gonna feel better about yourself. Then the next day you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
hey, yesterday I felt better because I moved my body, and maybe I'll do it today.
Mhm.
Then the next day, and then maybe you take a friend, and then
Mhm.
you're talking, you're getting that community together.
It's
you're
that
moving
first step though
yeah,
that scares everybody
Yeah.
because
no, it's very true.
some people go in the New Year's
Oh
resolutioners.
my god, yeah.
They go in there and they're like, I gotta work out, I gotta do this, do that, and then they end up sore, and they're like, well, that their mind equates it to this doesn't feel good, I'm gonna
Yeah.
stop. It's
Yeah.
like you have to just start slow and just build. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's it.
And
a
also do
whole
something.
elephant, even the dark meat.
Sure.
Also, do something you enjoy. A lot of
Yeah.
people think that they have to do something. I
Mhm.
have to do cardio. I hate
Right.
that.
No, go
You
for a
don't-
bike ride.
yeah.
Go.
You don't go for
Go
a walk
hiking.
to start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't.
That was a big
just,
thing
Oh.
when I was going through it. Was hiking. It's just
Well, the
going out.
Absolutely.
outdoors.
The
That's
peace.
huge. Yeah.
The peace I
I
found.
100% could not start uh, just running. It had been
Yeah.
so long.
Right from my problems.
Yeah, I felt like the Tin Man.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to grease
Yeah.
the bolts, the nuts and bolts again. So I literally started running only about 2 minutes out of the hour,
Mm-hmm.
and I've built it up to actual decent
awesome.
jogging now. But yeah, it took a bit to get going.
Absolutely.
But you have to
for
be
you
sure.
did
patient
it.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah, because imagine if you ran the whole hour and then
Ugh.
you'd be like, I want to do this again.
Yeah,
Can't walk for 3 days.
accomplished.
Yeah, but it's
Don't have to do this for another 10 years.
Yeah.
and I know when I'm in a rut and I go outside, even
That
if it's
sun,
disgusting
that vitamin
out,
D.
Mm,
you're feeling the wind
Mhm.
and you got the air. You
That
just
D.
feel
That's why.
that vitamin D.
The vitamin D.
The vitamin D. He said.
That's why I love the summertime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just kind of like rejuvenates you a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
So, I was looking at something last night.
Yeah.
And this wasn't it, but it was close enough.
I was looking at something. This is not what I was looking.
Anyway, a couple of the bullet points that I had found on here, I had kind of hit home with, and I was curious how you handled, especially since you had such a good go at it.
I wouldn't say that, but here I am.
Healthy.
So outside of just the stress of everything
Right.
and the managing, and you touched on how what your image would be
Mhm.
like at work and
Mhm.
stuff. Did you find that you had to create a new identity for yourself?
Oh, it's good.
And then the other thing would be the financial aspect of it.
Okay.
I know we briefly touched on that, but
Mhm.
it is such a huge part of divorce, and
Mhm.
especially in our line of work, our retirements can
Oh,
go
yeah.
pretty quickly.
For sure.
So we'll start with the identity. Did you feel like you had to create a new identity for
No,
yourself?
quite the opposite, actually. I felt like towards the end of my marriage, I was losing my identity. Like I was not the person I knew, is truly me. So finding that guy again, finding
Yeah.
that happy, that go lucky person, that was huge to me. So that's when I started doing things that enjoyed that
Mhm.
I hadn't done in a long time. Hiking,
Yeah.
reading. I read more books that year than I probably had the last 10 years. So all these things that were kind of the basis, the core of who I was trying to find those again.
Sure.
So I think that's when all that kind of
Yeah. So not reinventing the wheel, but
not at
finding
all,
what was
not at
already
all.
there that
And
you had
then
lost.
maybe finding stuff I didn't realize I enjoyed along the way. Traveling more.
Mhm.
I made all these goals. I said I want to travel to a new state every year. I want to do this. I want to
That's
do
pretty
that.
cool.
I'm a football fan, so I'm like I want to go to a new stadium every year. Like just
Yeah.
different
I
things that
definitely would love
what,
to
like
do that, though.
yeah, because I look at it like life's too short to do anything but be
Yeah.
happy. So
So I have
um,
seen on Instagram you're doing this thing where you take a picture every day. Can you
hmm
explain a little bit where that started or how it became a thing?
um, this is throwing me off. So I just do it because I feel like social media, especially tying in divorce,
Hmm.
people live these lives. They think everything's okay, everything's like hunky dory when it really isn't. So they're living this fake, life, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm like, you know what? Let me actually bring a positive light to social media.
Get
So
rid of that doom scrolling.
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, you know what? If I can bring one little thing every day to make somebody smile, or maybe
Yeah.
show, hey, you know what? Somebody that's going through it, they don't have to be alone, or they, you know what? Reach out to me if try and be optimistic.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty cool. That's why I wanted to
Yeah,
ask
so
and
I'm
see
like, you know
what.
what? Let me do it this year. I'm sure people are tired of seeing it, but
No, I like it.
well, thank
I
you.
think it's pretty neat.
That makes one of us.
If more people did that, it would probably
I
be
think the
much
world would
more.
be a better place if
Yeah,
everybody
absolutely.
could try to be happy and smile.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then along the lines of
Yeah,
the
the
finances,
finances. Yeah, they're such a huge part
so
of.
it is. It's like it's one of those things that we don't really touch on in the academy either. Is like
Right.
5 minutes out of the whole day. Hey, sign up for your Roth and sign up for this
Yeah.
and that, and then it's not touched on again. It's like, well, the next thing you know, you're 5 years in. You're like, crap, I need to be saving for
Yeah.
retirement.
Yeah.
And it's such a tricky career because we could go to work tomorrow and not come home, right?
Mhm.
Sure.
So it's like you have to find that fine line of living in the present and
Hmm.
also thinking about your future. And for me, I think that helps having a kid because I'm like, I want my future to set her up
Yeah.
in the right way,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, one of the books, and like people laugh at me, like I preach Dave Ramsey, everything. But I mean, everything. I call him Old Testament, right? Because
Mm.
he has some things that are a little older that some people may not agree with. I kept a credit card, but you have to handle it responsibly.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, why am I gonna pay off all this debt if I'm just gonna shred my credit card?
Hmm.
I could just file for bankruptcy and call it a day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'm gonna work hard for a good credit score to get a house one day,
Hmm.
to do this, do that. So I think for me, that kind of like reading some of his teachings helped me, contribute to my Roth and then set all
Hmm.
that up. And then talk, just one of those things where you just got to talk to people and figure out, like, some of the older guys, like, hey, man, you're doing pretty well. Like, talk to the officers, like, tell me about your retirement. Like, how'd you set it up? Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And then, like, really pick their brain. And that way you figure out, all right, well, now I'm going to do it this way. And just add tools to
Hmm.
your toolbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that really helped me.
So
Um,
initially, did you find it a very shocking hit to
Yeah,
your
we
life?
split. So we split everything down the middle, financially, except her car loan, my car loan, and then my debt, her student loan, stuff like that. Um, but luckily at that time my daughter was so young that I said to myself, well, she won't remember me working so much, so let
Right.
me change my life now for the better. So I paid off almost 23,000 in debt in 9 months.
That's crazy.
So it was just a lot of
Well,
OT
Dave
and
Ramsey strikes
and
again.
yeah,
I've never read Dave Ramsey, but
yeah,
a couple of the guys I've worked with
yeah,
were real into him. So
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
oh,
For
wrong
sure.
one.
Oh yeah.
But what about you? How did you handle financially when you got divorced?
Well, I got out pretty much unscathed, retirement wise. Now
Mhm.
I took a big hit on the front end,
Mhm.
so that retirement was left alone, and she was actually cool with that, which was fine. It was amicable in that
Yeah.
sense. we weren't going to screw with each other's retirements because
Yeah.
we were only married for 2.5 years.
It wouldn't make sense.
Mhm.
Right. And,
Mhm.
it thankfully that was the case. Now, because of that, I did take a hit on the front end, and I lived kind of paycheck to paycheck for a
Yeah.
year or two
Yeah.
after the divorce. But it is all about climbing out of that hole, and I probably should have taken it a bit more seriously
Mhm.
and not let the depression eat me alive so much, because it did probably take a lot longer than it should have to get the credit score back up, and because everything takes a hit when all of that goes
Yeah,
down. Like,
but you did it.
yeah,
you-
and it can really rock your whole world if you
Oh
don't
yeah.
try and keep it in check. And
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, and that brings a good point now. Like you said, you were relatively unscathed. I was, I dealt with my own debt,
Mhm.
but I was unscathed. There's a lot of people that have huge child support
Yeah.
Mhm.
payments. There's holes that they built or
Big time.
that they've dug, or due to divorce are dug. Like, how do you feel? Like, what do you think they should do?
Well, I think it all comes down to reaching back into your toolbox.
Mhm.
So if you don't have a toolbox, you need to start developing one.
Mhm.
I did not have a toolbox at all until I went to rehab, and that was what was needed for me.
Mhm.
I don't think I would be successful in sobriety without that foundation. I needed that. Some people don't. Some people can go to a couple of AA meetings and get going,
Mhm.
off to the races they go. I needed that foundation, uh, the core of 44 days of my life I spent down there just learning about what was wrong with me, or not necessarily what was wrong with me, but why I was who I was and what I was, and processing all of that and learning to manage it and live with it. Same thing with finances. I would tell people the same thing. Now, there's no finance rehab or anything, but
Mhm.
there are plenty of seminars, tools,
Yeah.
Yeah.
books, and everything that you can get. And more importantly, you hit a nail on the head, especially in the fire service. There are people, if you're a firefighter, a lot of them are also entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
because we have that extra
Mhm.
time off. So you don't have to look very far. Probably on your own shift,
Mhm.
there's somebody that knows their way around the dollar
Oh yeah.
pretty well. And if not, they can point you in a direction of somebody that does. If they're not as good at articulating, how they did it or
Yeah.
what they do,
Mhm.
they can point you in the right direction. So that is a nice thing about the fire service, is that a lot of people have second, third jobs, and
Mhm.
they they sometimes make more money outside of the fire
Than they
department.
do in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's wrap this up with one piece of advice for somebody going through a divorce.
I just get that first one out of the way early.
Oh man, you put me on the spot. One piece of advice. Somebody's probably gone through it, so ask plenty of questions because somebody else is there to help. And I think a lot of people feel like they're going through it alone. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna deal with it, and everybody's dealing with a different hell.
Yeah. No, that's very
It's 100% true.
Yeah. I would say to not get so caught up in other people's expectations, whether it's family,
Mhm.
friends, society. Just be true to yourself and what you know is good for you, and don't lose sight of yourself in
Yeah.
the process.
Yeah.
Either the process of being with someone or the process of leaving someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just stay true to yourself.
Yeah, and to that point, don't lie to yourself. Don't uh, stay in it for the kids. Don't do
Mhm.
all the things that they talk
Cheaper
about.
to keep her.
Yeah, it's just not worth it for your overall happiness.
Mhm. It's just not the 1950s anymore. We don't have to
Right.
stay together.
It's a plunge you might not want to take, but
be
at
miserable,
the
yeah.
very end of the day, I think
Yeah.
the three of us are living testaments that we're all happier now.
Yeah.
Amen.
And that concludes this episode of the Bunker
Bunker
Room
Chats
Chats podcast. Thank you to our guest Vince Powers.
Thanks for having me.
We might have him back again if
We
we
might.
want, because there's plenty more to talk about here if you're willing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you would like to listen to us, watch us, follow us, you can do that We are on Instagram at the Bunk Room Chats Podcast. You can send us an email, the Bunk Room Chats Podcast at gmail.com. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, if you
And-
want to be a guest here, like our buddy Vince.
Yeah, if you want to be a guest and talk about mental health, fire service, law enforcement, being a first responder, all that fun stuff, definitely reach out via email or shoot us a message.
All right. Thank you.
Good stuff.
See you guys.